Although Vita Health Group provided this exercise class provisional with your health and safety in mind, each individual participant has their own limitations and should consult their general practitioner or an appropriate medical professional prior to undertaking the class. Should you be prone to injury, are currently pregnant, or be managing any functional limiting medical conditions, please seek medical confirmation prior to participating. At all times, ensure you follow all instructions provided by Vita Health Groups throughout the entirety of the recording. Should you experience any symptoms of dizziness, nausea, or increased pain at any point during your participation, please stop and seek the appropriate advice from your general practitioner or the 111 service.
Hello and welcome to today's class. My name's Danny and I will be your instructor for today. This class is our beginner's lower back class and it's aimed at anyone who has had a recent lower back injury or has a lower back injury and has got any reduced sort of mobility or strength in and around the lower back. We'll be focusing on very gentle sort of stretching, gentle mobility work, gentle strengthening exercises in today's class, and all of the equipment that you need will be shown on screen. We're going to get started by going into our warm-up, so grab a drink and get yourself ready and we'll get started. Let's get started with our warm-up then. So with this warm-up, we're aiming to increase our heart rate, activate the muscles, increase mobility, all ready for our exercise class that's coming up. So we're going to start off nice and simple with just some marching on the spot. We're going to be doing this for 1 minute. Do it at your own pace, whether you want to go nice and slow or quite fast, completely up to you. Fab, let's get going for 1 minute then. Make sure we're swinging those arms, lifting the feet nice and high whilst we're marching. Remember, we're working to increase that heart rate. So just taking it at your own pace. That's great, keep swinging those arms, lifting those knees nice and high. And we are nearly halfway there. Great. Again, taking it at your own pace, just as we start the warm-up. Okay, 10 more seconds. Great, and bring that down to a stop. Brilliant. Okay, next thing we're going to do, we're just going to do some jogging on the spot this time. We're only going to go for 30 seconds this time. Again, doing it at your own pace. Just make sure that you've got a nice, safe environment around you. Okay, when we're ready, off we go. Again, make sure we're moving those arms and lifting those feet nice and high off the floor. That's it, halfway there. Good, 5 seconds left. And bring it down to a stop. Brilliant. Okay, so next thing we're going to do, we're going to go to do some hip circles. So for this one, I want your feet sort of shoulder width apart on the floor and the hands just resting on your hips. We're going to start off with very small circles. So we're going to sort of push the hips to one side, bring them round to the front and round to the back. Again, just do them at your own pace, and also with the circle, just make it as small or as big as you can, depending on how you're feeling. We're going to go for 30 seconds. When we're ready, off we go. That's it. So just make sure we're concentrating on really pushing those hips all the way around the movement. That's good. Because we're coming up to halfway, we're going to switch and go in the opposite direction. Again, like I said, if you need to do small circles with how you're feeling at the moment, that's absolutely fine. Or nice and big circles, doesn't matter. Great, and come to a stop. Okay, for the next exercise, we're going to go into doing some leg swings. For this one, I'm going to do it just freestanding, but if you need to, you can hold onto a wall hold onto the back of a chair, whichever works best for you. We're going to start off with our right leg. So again, like I said, holding onto something for stability if needs be. We're going to go for 30 seconds. We're just going to lift the leg out in front of us and then slowly lift behind. Okay, off we go. So just swinging that leg at your own pace. Like I said, if you need to hold on to something, then that's absolutely fine. Good. That's great. Keeping the knee nice and straight. And just swinging back and forwards. That's it. We've got 5 seconds left on this leg. And then we'll switch over. Great. Okay. So if you need to swing the chair around to the other side or reposition yourself so that you can hold onto the wall the opposite way, that's fine. And then we'll go for 30 seconds again. So on the left leg this time, swinging back and forth. That's great. Again, just doing it at your own pace, lifting the leg in a range of movement that's comfortable for you. Good. Okay, 10 seconds left on this leg. Great, and come to a stop, just back into our resting position. So the next activity that we're going to do is going to be with our arms. We're going to go for some arm circles. So what we'll do, we'll start off with our right arm because we started with our right leg. We'll pop our hand out to the side. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with some circles, just going backwards like this. If you need to do the circles nice and small, that's absolutely fine. Obviously, if you can, then we're going to do nice big circles with the arm. Again, just do whatever feels comfortable for you at the moment. And again, we're going to go for 30 seconds. That's it. Like I said, make sure we're doing this one in a comfortable range of movement. It can be as small or as big as you need at the moment. That's great. We've done 15 seconds on this arm. That's great. Last 5 seconds. Brilliant. Okay. And this time we're going to do the exact same on the left arm. So again, arm out to the side. You can do small circles if you need to. Obviously big ones if you can as well. Fab. Off we go. 30 seconds on this one. That's great. Again, just going at the speed that sort of works for you at the moment. If you need to move nice and slowly through this movement, that's fine. Obviously, if you can, then obviously we'll go a bit quicker. That's great. And just 5 more seconds. Perfect. Okay. Last exercise of our warm-up, we're going to do some movements with our spine. So we're going to work in 4 different directions. We're going to go for a forward movement, a backwards movement, and then side to side as well. So what I'll do first is I'll show you what we're going to do, and then I'll explain how many we're going to do after that. So we're going to have the feet shoulder width apart again. For the forwards movement, I'd like you to have your hands resting on the front of your legs. And then what I want you to do nice and slowly is just come down as far as you can until you start to feel that bit of a stretch in the lower back, and then return up to your neutral position. Then we'll go for the opposite. So this time I'll turn to the side to show you, you're going to lean backwards. Again, just a gentle movement and back up to the neutral position. Then hands down by our sides. It doesn't matter which side you do first, but you're going to bend over to the side, back up and over to the other side. We're going to do 5 in each direction. Again, just going as far as you can. Okay, we'll do them all together. So if we start at the front, we're going to come down, just go as far as you can, and then back up to that neutral position. Then we're going to lean back, again to the neutral position, hands down by our sides, drop one hand down the side of the leg, back up, and then over to the side. So that's 1 repetition. So now we'll go for our second. So again, we're going to come back down the front, nice and slowly and controlled. And then this time lean backwards. That's great. And then down to one side. back up and over into the other direction. Brilliant, onto number 3, so back to the front, coming down as far as you can, and back up, and then leaning back, and back into that neutral position. Hands down by our sides, and we'll go over to one side, and back up, then over to the other side, and back up. And now for number 4, back to the front, leaning forwards, and back up. Hands on our hips, and we'll lean backwards, back to our neutral position, and down to one side, and back over to the other direction. Brilliant, last one now, hands back on the front. We're going to lean down as far as we can, back up to the middle, hands on our hips, and lean back to the middle, and then this time we'll drop down one side, back up, and then down to the other side. Okay, that completes our warm-up. So if you want to go and grab a bottle of water ready for our exercise class, and we'll get started. Okay, and into our second set. As you can see, I've moved the chair to the side on view so that you can have a slightly different angle, but the actual movement is completely the same as what we've just done. So you're going to stand in front of your chair again, feet shoulder width apart. The hands can either be crossed over the chest or out in front, whichever you prefer. And then we're just going to get started. So we're going to lower ourselves down to the chair and then lift ourselves back up using those muscles in the legs. And slowly coming back down, nice and controlled, and back up. Okay, and keep going. Make sure we're breathing nice and slowly on this one. And if you need to take it at your own pace, then that's fine. I'm just making sure that we're doing it nice and controlled movements. And we'll go for 3 more. That's it. Again, if you need to go any slower, then that's absolutely fine. Use those muscles to push you up. Great, okay. So that's the end of this particular exercise. We're going to have 20 seconds as a bit of a rest, have a drink, and then we'll come back for the next exercise. Okay, so the next exercise that we're going on to is called the W raise. So for this one, we're going to be on the floor on our fronts. So just take your time getting down to the floor. I'm going to show you the position of our arms before I get onto the floor so that you can see it from this angle. So our arms are going to go into what we call a W position. So your arms are going to be up like this. So if you imagine with the arms and the head, it's a bit like a W. So that's the position our arm will be in once we've got to the floor. So take your time getting to the floor. If you need to pause the video, then that's absolutely fine. Once we're on the floor, we're going to lie on our front and we're going to put those arms in that W position, making sure that the elbows are in line with the shoulders. From here, we're going to keep the legs and the hips completely still, and we're just going to try and lift up the upper half of the body and the arms. So we're going to lift off the floor just until you feel the muscles in the lower back engage. Hold it for 1 second, and then we'll lower back down, nice and controlled. We're going to do 8 repetitions, then we'll have a little bit of a rest, and then we'll go a second time. Okay, so at your own pace, off we go. We're going to lift up, hold for 1 second, and come back down. Just lift as high as you can comfortably, and then lower nice and controlled. You don't have to lift super high, just until you feel those muscles in the lower back engage. Make sure that we're looking down at the mat when we're doing this movement, so we're not looking up. Look down at the floor and lift up. Okay, let's do 3 more. Making sure we're breathing nice and slowly. And relax there for me. Okay, So what we're going to do now, like I mentioned, we're going to have a 20-second rest. If you need a drink, then grab one, and then we'll come back and do the second set. Okay, back for our second set. We're going to do exactly the same movement. So nice and slowly get yourself into the starting position. So on your front, arms in that W position. Remember, we want the elbows in line with the shoulders, keeping the head looking at the mat or at the floor. And then from here, we're just going to lift, hold for 1 second, and back down. And lift. Again, just lifting as high as you can. And up, hold for 1 second, and back down. Okay, that's halfway, so we'll just do 4 more. And back down. If you feel like 8 of these is too much for you at the moment, then just stop where you feel comfortable and just wait for the video to catch up. Last one. And back down. Okay, well done. So we're going to take another 20-second break now. So if you do need a drink of water or anything like that, make sure you get one, and then we'll come back for the next one. Okay, for this exercise, we're going to be doing some standing flexions. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our hands down by our side, and we're going to be doing side flexion. So going back and forth, side to side. So the feet are going to be shoulder width apart, hands down by our sides, keeping the legs nice and straight. We're just going to drop one hand down towards the side, just going as far as you can, then coming back up into a neutral position, and then leaning over to the other side. When we're coming back up, really think about squeezing the core muscles to bring you back up to that standing position, okay? We're going to do 8 repetitions on either side, and that's going to be 1 set, and then we'll have a quick break and we'll come back for another set, okay? So hands by our sides, feet shoulder width apart, and off we go. So we're going to do down to the side, just as far as you can, back up, and then over to the other side. That's 1 repetition, and we're going to go for 8. Nice and slowly and controlled. Very good. And just going as far as you can with these ones. So if you can't reach down as far as I can, then that's fine. If you can reach further than I can, then that's also fine. Just doing it to whatever works for you. Okay, and we've got 3 more. Very good, nice and slow. Really think about your breathing on this one, pulling those core muscles back up to that standing position. And we'll go for 1 more either side. That's great. Okay, let's take a little break then, and then we'll come back, do our second set after we've had 20 seconds rest. Okay, back for our second set. We're going to do exactly the same movement. So feet shoulder width apart, hands down by our sides, and we'll start off by leaning over just as far as we can, back up to that neutral position, and then back over to the other side. That's it, nice and slow and controlled, as we have done with all our other movements. Really focusing on that sort of core muscles, bringing you back up to that neutral position. And concentrate on that breathing. Very good. Okay, Okay, and we're going all the way up to 8. That's great. Okay, fab. So we're going to have another 20-second break. If you do need a drink of water, make sure you get one, and then we will come back for the next exercise. Okay, so this exercise is called the seated trunk flexion. We will need our chair for this exercise. We're going to sit down to start off with. We'll have the feet sort of slightly apart on the floor, and the hands are going to start on the thighs. With this exercise, we're looking at sort of stretching the lower back and doing a little bit of mobilization around there. So start with the hands on the thighs. Very slowly, you're going to bring the hands down over the knees, down the shins, just as far as you can. If you can only get, just over the knee, that's absolutely fine. If you can get all the way down to your feet, that's also fine. We're going to do 4 20-second holds, and we'll have a couple of seconds break in between. Okay, so starting with the thighs, hands on your thighs, and then we'll slowly come down, go as far as you can, and we'll hold for 20 seconds. That's it. Very good. Just as far as you can. Should feel that stretch across the lower back. Make sure we're not going too far, so it should be stretching but not, really painful. So just try and work out what the right distance for you is. Okay, and stop there and come back up to that neutral position. Like I said, we're going to take a few seconds break in between these repetitions. If you feel that you need longer, then feel free to pause the video and come back once you're ready. But if not, then we will go again. So slide those hands down the front of the shins and off we go. That's great. It's just holding it there. Make sure we're focusing on our breathing in this one. So breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Nice deep breaths. As this one is a stretch, we can sort of focus on that breathing as opposed to anything else. Good, and come back up from there. Okay, we're going to take another few seconds and then go again. Same as before, if you do need more time, then just pause the video. But if not, then we will jump back into our third repetition. So we've got 2 more to do. So hands on the thighs, slide down just as far as you can and hold it there. Off we go. Very good. And like we said before, it should be that gentle stretch, not pain, okay, on this one. Just go as far as you feel comfortable with. And then come back up to that neutral position. Okay, we've got 1 more to go. Same again, if you need a bit more time, then take the time. If not, we're just going to jump straight back into it. So hands on our thighs, slide down as far as you can, and let's hold it together. That's great. Just going as far as you can. Don't feel like you need to push past that point. Just going until you can feel that gentle stretching. 5 more seconds. That's great. Okay, what we're going to do now, then we're going to take another 20-second break. If you do need a drink or anything like that, make sure you get one, and then we'll come back for the next exercise. Okay, our next exercise is called the standing hip abduction. You'll need a chair or a wall or something to hold on to for this exercise. So what we're going to do, we'll start off with the left leg. So we're going to hold on our right hand side. So if you're starting off the opposite way, just make sure whatever you're holding on to is on the opposite side to the leg that we're working. In this movement, the whole body needs to stay straight, so our sort of shoulders, hips, knees, ankles all in line. And then we're just going to take the one leg out to the side. We're going to squeeze the muscles on the side of the hip, and we're going to lift the leg out and back down. Okay, just lift the leg as high as you can. Don't feel like you have to lift it, really, really high. We'll do 8 repetitions on each side, and then we'll have a break, and then we'll do 8 repetitions on each side again. Okay, so make sure we're holding on to something, keeping the body in line, and off we go. We're going to lift the leg and lower back down, all nice and controlled and slow. Lifting and lowering back down. You shouldn't really hear the foot hitting the floor again. It should be nice and quiet coming back down. Okay, and we'll do 4 more. Okay, brilliant. What we're going to do now then, we're going to swap on to doing the other side. For the purpose of the video, I'm going to move my chair to the other side, but obviously for yourselves, you could just turn around wherever you are. So let me move to the other side. And we're going to do the same exact movement, just with the right leg now. Okay, so body in line again, and lift. That's it, nice and controlled. Remember, we don't want to hear that foot hitting the floor. That's good. Make sure we're doing those nice slow breaths still. Good, and we should be able to feel this in those muscles, either side of the hips. Okay, and 1 more. That's great. Okay, so that's the end of the first set. So we're going to have 20 seconds, grab yourself a drink, and then we'll come back for our second set. Okay, ready for our second set. I've moved my chair back round, so we're going to start on the leg that we started the first set on. So same again, body in line, leg out to the side, and we're just going to lift. Okay, and we're going to do 8. Remember, just lift the leg as high as you feel comfortable. And we don't want to hear that foot hitting the ground. So it's nice and controlled. And we'll do 3 more. Great. Okay, and just as before, you can just turn around, but I'm going to move my chair so that we can do the opposite leg. Okay, so body in line again, and foot out to the side, and we're just going to lift. Nice and controlled. Good, and 4 more. Perfect. Okay, so that's the end of that exercise. We're going to have 20 seconds rest, grab yourself a drink, and then we will come back for the next exercise. Okay, so back for our second set. As you can see, I've moved my step around to the side so that you can get a slightly different angle, but the movement is completely the same as what we've just done. So we're just going to stand up on our step. Again, it doesn't matter which leg we do first because we're going to do the same amount on each one. We're going to lower our foot down and back up onto the step, and then the opposite one and back up. Okay. And we want to keep it nice and controlled, so we shouldn't be making, big loud thudding noise when we come to the floor. It should be nice and soft, our landing on the floor. Okay, and that's 3, so we're halfway there. And remember, try and keep those knees in line with the toes, so we're not falling in or out with the knees. Okay, 1 more. And push ourselves back up. Okay. That's the end of that exercise then. We're going to take 20 seconds. If you need a quick drink, then make sure to get one, and we will come back for the next exercise. Okay, so this exercise that we're doing is called supine knee to chest. All that means, supine is the way that we're lying, so that means that we're lying on our backs, and knee to chest is the movement that we're going to be doing with our legs. So we're going to be lying flat on our backs on the floor for this one. So take your time getting down to the floor. If you need to pause the video whilst you're doing so, that's absolutely fine. Once we get down onto the floor, we're actually going to lie with our legs out flat and lying flat on our back, like so. This is a stretch, this exercise, so we're going to be holding positions on this one. We're going to lift one knee up towards us. You're going to interlock your hands and try and put them around your knee if you can. If you can't reach there, that's absolutely fine. Just hold on to the back of the thigh. And then what we're going to do is try and pull the knee towards our chest, as it says in the name, and we're just going to hold for 15 seconds. Okay, off we go. Making sure that we're breathing nice and slowly on this one because it is a stretch. That's it. We're just holding for 15 seconds, so not too long. We're going to do that 3 times on each side. Okay, and then relax from there. Swap over legs, so we're going to bring the other leg up. Remember, if you can, interlock your fingers and put them over the knee. If you can't, that's absolutely fine. Just hold on to the leg and then pull that knee in towards you just as far as you can. Obviously, as with all the exercises we do, we don't want pain, we just want a bit of a stretch. So we're going to pull it in to where it's comfortable and let's hold for 15 again. Off we go. Really focusing on that breathing now as we're coming towards the end of today's class. So just focus on that nice and slow, steady breathing. Okay, great, that's 1 on each leg. So we're going to switch back to the first leg, pull in towards the chest, and let's hold for 15 again. That's it, just going as far as you can. That's great. And then from here, we're just going to slowly release and bring the leg back down. And again, we're just going to swap to the other side. So pull that leg in, take your time to get into the right position, and then let's go again for 15. Perfect. Making sure that we're relaxing the rest of the body. So we're sort of lying down, head into the mat, shoulders into the mat. And just relaxing into that stretch. Brilliant. Okay, so 1 more on each leg and then we are done with this exercise. Fab. So pull the knee in towards you, try and relax like we said. That's great. Okay, and from there we're just going to relax down and let's go on to the last leg. Brilliant. Pull in towards the chest just as much as you can and off we go. And don't worry about how far you can get on these. The more you do them, the more movement you will get. So just keep practicing them. Okay, brilliant. And then just take your time just to get back up into our standing position. Okay. Fab. Well, that is the end of our exercises for this class. We still do have a cool down to do though. So we're going to take 20 seconds, have a bit of a drink, have a bit of a breather, and then we'll come back for our cool down. Could you see? Okay, let's get started with our cool down. So with the cool down, we're going to be focusing on bringing that heart rate back down, bringing our breathing rates back down, and sort of just relaxing the muscles after the class that you've done. So we're going to start off nice and easy with 30 seconds of deep breathing. So for the breathing, I'd really focus on breathing in through the nose and then breathing back out through the mouth. We're wanting those nice deep breaths. So when we are breathing in, try and think about sort of filling the rib cage, and then obviously releasing on the breath out. Okay, we're going to go for 30 seconds all together. Off we go. So like I said, breathing in through the nose and back out through the mouth. And make sure, like we said, we're really trying to fill that rib cage with air when we're breathing in, and then breathing out nice and slowly. You might find that at the moment, because you've just finished the exercises, that it's a bit difficult to slow that breathing rate down, but just go at your own pace. Okay, fab. What we're going to go on to next, again, nice and easy, we're going to go on to some walking on the spot. So in the warm-up before, we were obviously trying to increase our heart rate with the marching and the jogging. This time we're trying to bring it back down. So we're going to go nice and slowly and just walk on the spot. Okay, for 30 seconds, off we go. That's great. So still swinging those arms like we were before, but obviously just in a bit more of a relaxed position on this one and going a little bit slower. That's great, that's halfway there. Five more seconds. Great, okay, this time we're going to move on to doing some hip circles. So we did these in our warm-up before, but again, a bit like the walking, we're going to bring the pace down on this one. So we're going to have the feet shoulder width apart, hands on the hips, and again, make the circles as small or as big as you can. And we're just going to go big circles with the hips, nice and slowly. We're going to do 30 seconds all together. Off we go. So bringing the pace down a little bit on this one, just moving through the full movement, nice and slowly. We can still concentrate on our breathing in these cool down exercises. So really trying to slow that breathing down. 10 more seconds. Great, okay. For the next movement, we're going to be going down to the floor. So take your time getting down. If you need to hold on to something, then do that. Nice and carefully onto the floor. And we're going to have the feet out in front, legs nice and straight. I want you to try and keep the knees as straight as possible with this one. And then we're going to rest the hands on front of the thighs. From here, we're just going to slide down the legs just as far as you can, and we want to grip on to our legs as close as we can to our ankles, and we're going to hold that stretch for 30 seconds. Okay, so moving down just as far as you can, and then let's hold for 30 seconds. Off we go. Still focusing on that breathing when we're doing this movement, so breathing nice and slowly in and out, and we should feel that nice gentle stretch down the back of the legs. Okay, we're halfway there. Ten seconds left. And 5 seconds. Okay, and sit back up into that relaxed position. We're going to get ourselves back up into a standing position, but again, take your time. If you need to hold on to something to help you get up, then that's absolutely fine. Okie doke. Once we're up then, for the next movement, we're going to be doing some stretches, mobility work for the middle back. So we're going to have the feet shoulder width apart again. The hands this time are going to come up behind the head. And we're going to be doing 4 different movements. So we're going to be coming down into a forward position, back up and into a slightly extended position. Then we're also going to do some flexion to the side, back up into a middle position and over to the side. Okay, we might add in a little bit of rotation too, just to stretch a few extra muscles. We're going to go for 30 seconds. I want you to go at your own pace, and we're just going to move through all those different movements, just making sure that we're stretching all the right muscles. Okay, off we go all together. So coming forwards, back up into that slightly extended position, and back down, over to the sides, and then rotating. That's great, and again we're going to move slightly forwards, and up, and slightly back. Then we're going to lean to the sides. And again, we might go slightly over 30 seconds, but we want to get all those movements back in. And the final rotation. Okay, and then bring the arms back down into our neutral position. We're going to finish off by doing 30 seconds of our deep breathing again. So we're going to go in through the nose, out through the mouth, make sure we're trying to fill that rib cage there, and then release. Okay, off we go. So hopefully this breathing will be sort of easier now. Hopefully you'll be breathing that a little bit slower. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Again, really trying to fill that rib cage with air. Back down. Brilliant. Okay, well done everyone. So thank you for attending our exercise class today. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we hope to see you very soon on our next session. Thank you.